There was no stopping him. On January 23, 2019, James Harden dropped 61 points at Madison Square Garden.
Last couple of minutes here in New York.
Good defense there by Eric Gordon and James Harden with the capper. What a game here in Madison Square Garden.
This was not just a good season. It was one of the most dominant scoring stretches in NBA history. Harden averaged 36.1 points per game over 78 games. In January alone, he averaged 43.6 points, including 6 50-point games that season. That's not just rare, that's historic. The MVP race? It wasn't even close. Giannis won it officially, but Harden's case was undeniable. He was carrying the Rockets solo, with Chris Paul and Clint Capella both missing major time. Still, the Rockets finished 53-29, securing first place in the Southwest Division and the 4th seed in the competitive Western Conference. And through it all, James Harden kept them alive with nightly scoring explosions that carried the team forward. Hope you enjoy the video. If you do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. Let's be honest, 36.1 points, 7.5 assists, 6.6 rebounds across 78 games. That's not a stat line, that's straight up video game numbers on cheat mode. You do not average 36 a night unless you're messing around on rookie difficulty, but James Harden did it in real life. And here's the crazy part. Second place in scoring that season, Paul George, with 28.0 points per game. That's an 8-point gap. In NBA terms, that is not a gap, it's a canyon. Most scoring titles are decided by fractions. And this wasn't during some soft, no-defense era. In 2019, buckets weren't just being handed out. Averaging 30 was elite. Dropping 36, that was unheard of. It's like hitting 50 home runs in a pitcher's park. Technically possible, but mythical. Harden didn't just lead the Rockets' offense, he was the offense. Every possession ran through him. It wasn't just dominance, it was James Harden forcing the entire NBA to play his game. January 2019 is when James Harden stopped playing NBA basketball and started breaking it. That month, he averaged 43.6 points, 8.7 rebounds, and 7.6 assists across 14 games. Those aren't hot streak numbers. Those are how is this legal numbers. In those 14 games, Harden had 5 40-point games, 2 50-point games, and 1 60-point game. Not a single game under 30 points. Zero. His lowest scoring night was still more than most players ever touch in their careers. That wasn't rhythm, that was total control. Meanwhile, the Rockets went 8-6. That tells the whole story. Harden wasn't padding stats. He was dragging Houston to wins with no real margin for error. One player was holding up an entire roster with nothing but footwork, timing, and pure offensive mastery. Harden didn't just score, he calculated it. Every drive was a setup, every contact a trap. His real weapon, free throws. He turned drawing fouls into an art form and made getting to the line feel automatic. New Year's Eve versus the Grizzlies, Harden dropped 43 points with only 8 made field goals. He went 21 for 27 from the line. Memphis as a team shot 30 free throws. Harden alone nearly matched their total. One player bending the officiating that far, that's not normal. He scored 40+ points with fewer than 10 made field goals 8 times in his career. That is not a hot hand. That's someone mastering the entire scoring process, even when the shot wasn't falling. During a 10-game stretch in that same run, Harden averaged 14.9 free throw attempts per game. He was on pace to lead the NBA in free throws for the 5th straight season. People said it was boring, people said it was cheap, but it worked. He didn't break rules, he used them like no one else. January 23, 2019. Madison Square Garden, the mecca of basketball, and James Harden. He turned it into his video game. The beard went full glitch mode, dropping an absurd 61 points on the Knicks, tying Kobe Bryant for the most ever by a visiting player at MSG. And he didn't just score, he controlled every second. 15 rebounds, 4 assists, 22 out of 25 from the line. At that point, Harden was in the middle of one of the wildest scoring runs in NBA history.
Harden into Livingston with one fake after another. Capella is there to receive the
21 straight games with 30+ points. Defenders knew what was coming and still couldn't stop it. Step back threes, drawn fouls, ISO after ISO, and when he threw down that final slam with just seconds left on the clock, MSG went silent. Everyone knew they'd just witnessed something unreal. By early 2019, the MVP race wasn't close. James Harden had changed the entire conversation. In mid-December, his MVP odds were plus 1,200. By early January, plus 450. He passed Anthony Davis and was sitting right behind Giannis. That jump in odds didn't just happen. It meant Harden was doing something that couldn't be ignored. This wasn't about padding numbers. Houston needed every point, every assist, every possession from him. No backup plan, no second star. Harden was the system. While Giannis had a 60-win team and solid help, Harden was carrying Houston through the West night after night without slipping. He turned isolation into offense, step backs into routine, and double teams into mismatches. Other MVP candidates played well. Harden made it look unfair. Then came Game 3 against Utah. After 2 games of destruction, 30.5 points, 10.5 rebounds, 10 assists, 44% shooting, everything broke. Harden missed his first 15 shots. That's a playoff record. He finished 3 of 20. Only Karl Malone in '97 and Kenyon Martin in '03 had worse games with that many attempts. Harden didn't just go cold, he short-circuited. Utah didn't even change its strategy. Same plan as games 1 and 2. Shade left, force right, block the step back. It finally worked. They didn't stop Harden with schemes. They timed it perfectly. He couldn't shake free. And somehow, Houston still won. Went up 3-0. Harden was off, but the team survived. That's what his regular season run did. It raised the floor for everyone. Even when he couldn't hit anything, the momentum he built carried them. It was like watching someone beat the final boss with a broken controller. Harden had already warped the game so far, even a glitch couldn't stop the outcome. James Harden in 2019. It was like watching someone who cracked the game's code and went full-on God mode. Dropping 36.1 points per game wasn't just about scoring. It was Harden breaking the system. In an NBA obsessed with analytics, Harden became the ultimate algorithm.
Fumbles it, steps back, there it goes, and there it goes!
While teams were busy optimizing plays, Harden just said, "Cool story, I'll just torch everyone instead." And this wasn't some lucky streak or soft stretch of the schedule. Nah, this was 78 straight games of pure, calculated destruction. Every night felt like Harden was filming his mixtape. Defenders, just background characters. But here's the wild part. He didn't just put up numbers, he changed the league. That signature step-back 3, it's now a standard move for every young guard. And his absurd usage rate? Prove what it looks like when you build an offense entirely around one transcendent scorer. 2019 Harden wasn't just dominant, he redefined what dominance could look like. Let's be real, Harden's 2019 season wasn't just basketball. It was performance art with a beard and a step back. In January alone, he averaged over 43 points a game. The man was toying with the game like he had found the cheat codes. Yeah, the playoffs got rocky. But by then, the message was clear. One player can dominate the modern NBA with pure skill and basketball genius. Stats don't capture the magic. Harden made the impossible look routine. He turned the league into his lab, pulling off offensive experiments no one else even attempted. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Harden's historic run, hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more on the way. And sound off in the comments. Was Harden robbed of MVP or did Giannis earn it? Drop a like if this brought back memories. Thanks for watching and stay locked in.